Okay, so exactly 7 years ago, 2 days ago, I graduated from undergrad, and in the process of reflecting on my experience and being removed from it a little bit, there are a couple of things that I would have done differently and some advice that I want to give to anybody that's still in college and trying to navigate the whole situation. Now, I want to preface all of this by saying that I have no regrets. I feel like every decision that I made has led me to where I am. And I feel like, in the grand scheme of my life, I'm on the right track. But there are some things that I feel like would have enhanced my experience and, on a material level, given me a better position coming out of college to be successful. All right, first thing, networking. Now, everybody always says that networking is very important, yada, yada, make connections, et cetera, et cetera. But I did not know how crucial it was to make sure that you are making meaningful connections with the right people. Networking is not just networking with, professors if you're in a college arena, or networking with people above you, recruiters, etc. But it's honestly making connections with people beside you as well. Now, this is a little bit touchy because it can be a little political, kind of strategic, and give the air of like, slimy corporate trying to, elevate and making connections for the purposes of, furthering yourself. But honestly, that's life. There's an element of it that's always going to be that way. Of course, you want to make genuine connections, but you really have to put yourself out there and make sure that you are solidifying relationships. And of course, it has to be a balance between strategic and organic. What they don't tell you is how much of referrals are a part of hiring processes when you're out in the real world, in the wild of the job search. If you don't know somebody, it is going to decrease your chances of landing that super good, promising job in the future. 9 times out of 10 in my actual career life, when I ask people how they got to where they are and, telling me about their career trajectory, is almost always starts with somebody telling me that someone else opened a door for them. Even I myself got into the company that I work for by someone opening a door. Now, for me, it's a long story. I ain't getting into it today. It was an entry level situation, but still, nonetheless, somebody made that connection for me. Even though it's a cliche, it really is not about what you know, it's about who you know. So who you know is going to enable you to get into the rooms and in situations where what you know will sustain you. Okay, the next thing that I wish that I would have done differently in college was my choice of extracurriculars and communities that I chose to lean into and be a part of. Now, in my freshman year, I was working and I didn't really do a lot because I wanted to make sure that I solidified myself, academically. In my sophomore year, I kind of lost my mind and got involved with everything. Okay, I was running here and there everywhere, like literally doing everything and anything. It was a lot of fun, but I feel like I wasn't strategic enough about what I poured my intention into. And those things were not necessarily dead ends. Like, they were great experiences. And again, like I said, no regrets. But I feel like I should have chosen like three might even be pushing it, but two really important things that I was interested in to really lean into and grow with throughout my college career. Another thing that I would have done differently related to that is also got involved with more professional organizations. So for me personally, I majored in journalism and I did a lot of things that were related to journalism. But the organizations that I chose to be a part of did not really, again, going back to the networking thing, afford me an opportunity to make connections with people that could have helped me when I was getting ready to find a job in the future. Now, I'm not getting into, the specifics and drama of it because I don't want to stir no pots or ruffle any feathers. But I feel like leaning into more mainstream organizations that are, national organizations or well supported by faculty and staff that are still involved with their profession that they're teaching their students about is important. So, yeah, wasn't a part of things like that. And again, part of it is my fault. Networking was not a strength, as we know. Okay, another thing that I would have done differently, honestly, and I hate to hurt the hearts of the people that I went to J school with, but I wish that I would have invested more into business education. Now, ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a journalist. I always wanted to be a storyteller. Actually, my first thing that I wanted to do was be an author. So naturally, since the age of 10, was on this path to becoming a journalist. And I was tunnel vision. I had no room to even consider or think about anything else. When I got to college, I started taking obviously journalism classes and then other classes that piqued my interest. But I'm like, I'm already committed. I do not want to change course because this is all I've ever wanted. And I didn't give myself room to really explore and see what another opportunity or path or passion that I could have had could have been, if that makes sense. Halfway through college, so at the end of my sophomore year, I realized that I did not want to pursue a journalism career in the traditional sense because it's a long story, another story for another time. But I knew that I didn't want to pursue journalism in a traditional way of being a reporter on the news, talking about, the latest house fire. At that point, I had a choice that I could have made. I could have pivoted, tried to figure out what, those other passions and things that piqued my interest at the time were, and kind of leaned into those and maybe change course and maybe even change my major. Or I could have done what I did, which was stuck with journalism, but then in the background kind of adjusted, my goal. So I thought that I wanted to pursue public relations, and there wasn't an overt public relations degree. So I decided to get a minor in PR and tailor, my internship experiences to strategic communications and public relations. In the end, I ended up not pursuing either one of those things. A minor in PR was not enough for me to get a PR job out of school. And again, the networking thing also hindered, my opportunities to break into that discipline, profession. That's the word. If I would go back, I wish that I wouldn't have been afraid to take a leap of faith and really introspectively look at what my possibilities were and what I could have pursued instead of that. At the time, my mom really encouraged me to not be afraid of possibly doing like a fifth year. And I thought that was the worst thing in the flipping world at the time. She wanted me to stay in school and lean into political science, which still, in hindsight, wouldn't have been the right choice for my path anyways. But conceptually, I should not have been afraid of the possibility of changing route, taking a little bit longer to graduate from school, but actually getting a degree that would have been more beneficial to me in the long term in terms of in the business world, and then B, just more fulfilling, just giving me another opportunity. I could have taken an extra year in school and had 2 degrees by the time that I graduated. Knowing what I know now, I think that, having an education, enough foundation in business would have served me better in the long run. But again, no regrets. Like, I'm still doing what I got to do and I'm still going to get to where I need to go. And the last thing is I wish that I would have taken more time to stop and smell the roses. Like, it is a very unique time in your life to be in college, and you will never have that experience again. You are walking beside people who are going to be the next doctor, lawyer, electrician, anything. People that are walking through the same stage of life that you are at the same time. And being around your peers like that is never going to happen in that fashion again. If I could go back, I would have just enjoyed myself a little bit more. I feel like I was so bent on grinding, trying to pursue a goal that ultimately changed, that I didn't fully enjoy myself the way that I could have. So, yeah, that's my advice. If you could go back, what is something that you would have done differently? And would it have really made a difference?